great day to be outside.
It is. It's a beautiful day.
You know, obviously, we're not in the church right now,
No.
but no matter where we are, God is always with us. And I just feel like He's here right now. It is great to see you this morning, and it's great to be with our friends. You know, when I was coming in, I just thought how exciting it is to see the big machines working. How exciting it is to see construction going.
And to be part of it.
Absolutely. You know, everything, every day we come back, we see changes.
Yep.
We see how things are being built. We see how things are changing. And you know, everything that's built, no matter whether it's a huge office building, whether it's a house, whether it's a garage, whether it's a playhouse, or even a playground, you know, everything of those, in order for them to stand, to stay, and to be useful, needs a strong foundation.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And how do we know about a strong foundation? We look at our blueprints, right? Blueprints tells us what to build and how to build it, and it gives us instructions for the foundation. And just like the foundation of a building or even a playset, the foundation of life needs to be strong too. And that's why we have our blueprint for life, and that's the Bible, right? Jesus told us in the Bible all the things that we need to know to build a good, strong life. So, and in our foundation this week, we learned about the foundation of love and the foundation of gratitude, and forgiveness. And today, we're going to talk about the foundation of forgiveness. So, we'll add that to as a building block in our foundation.
One of the stories in the Bible that really talks about the foundation of forgiveness is the story of Paul.
Yes.
And Paul grew up in Jerusalem, and he followed the rules and the laws of the Pharisees. Remember yesterday, or last week, the Pharisees really didn't like Jesus eating with Matthew and his tax collector friends. Now, the Pharisees were a Jewish sect that believed in very, very strict adherence to the law and the traditions. They were very strict, and they didn't really like anybody who was different. They didn't really like people who practiced different things. And at this time, at the beginning of this story, Paul didn't like Jesus either. In fact, he used to arrest people who believed in Jesus. He threw them in jail. Jesus was different. And he was telling people that he was the Son of God.
And Paul didn't like people who were different. He wanted everybody to believe just like all the Pharisees believed. And he didn't like those followers of Jesus. So he was arresting them, and he would tie them up with rope and put them in jail. And so one day he was on the road to Damascus with some friends, and this bright light, just like that, I mean even brighter than that, it was so bright it knocked him down, and he couldn't even see. People who were with him saw the light also, but they didn't hear a voice that called them. And the light was so bright, so they didn't hear the voice that said,
Paul, why are you persecuting me? The voice was asking Paul why he was punishing him. Because of me, because of, and what I had told him about God's love. Remember, again, the Pharisees were very strict, and they didn't like people who said or believed different ways. The other guys, as you said, Anne-Marie, who were traveling with Paul, saw the light but didn't hear the voice. That would have gotten to me if I hadn't known what was going on. Paul couldn't see who was talking, and he was blinded by that light. But he asked who was speaking. Now, it's kind of like, have you ever woken up from a dream and thought somebody was talking to you? you know. It kind of scared you because you didn't really know what was going on.
But he heard the voice again that said, I am Jesus, the one you are persecuting. And Paul, the other guys didn't hear the voice. So Paul said, well, I don't want to say. The voice said, why are you persecuting me? And then the voice told Paul that Jesus wanted Paul to tell the people who he was, who Jesus was, and that he would forgive them, that Jesus forgave them for all their wrongdoing. Imagine that.
I just can't. I really can't imagine how Paul might have felt when he heard that. He might have felt, again, scared. He might have felt like he was comforted. He might have felt a whole bunch of different ways. But you know, you didn't have to tell Paul the second time. That bright light and the voice seemed to convince him that what he was supposed to do was to go tell everybody that Jesus loves them, even if you aren't perfect.
This is quite a story about forgiveness, you know. As bad as Paul was to the Christians and people that loved Jesus, and Jesus chose him and forgave him for all that wrong that he was doing to everybody and for being so mean, and Jesus forgave him and had a big job for him to do.
And that was a big change because, you know, at the beginning of the story, Paul really wasn't a very nice guy.
No, he wasn't at all.
He was doing what he thought he was supposed to do. He was arresting people who believed. You know, I bet you if he came to our church, he might want to arrest everybody.
That's right. That's right.
So, why do you think what was going on made Paul change his mind?
Well, I think the bright light helped him. Hearing a voice made him change his mind. And also the whole fact that Jesus was forgiving him. I think that made the most impact of all. That Jesus forgave him for doing all the mean things that he had done to Jesus' followers. And that to realize that Jesus loved him and was forgiving him. I think that made a big difference in Paul.
Do you know what else happens to Paul in the Bible? You know, he wrote 13 books of the Bible. Wow. Started churches all over the country. He was put in jail 3 times and preached for 35 years. Shipwrecked. He was stoned. And it wasn't just little gravels they were throwing. Throwing big rocks.
Yeah.
So that bright light and that voice surely changed his life.
Yeah. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a story for us. So we can realize how Jesus forgives and how much he loves us. And what a strong part of a good foundation that is to know that Jesus forgives us. And we can build our lives on his love and forgiveness. That's just amazing.
So let's see what we have in our toolbox today.
Yeah. We have the light. We definitely need a flashlight. Oh, you can't even see it in the sun. But it's a big, bright light, but it's not nearly as bright as what Paul saw. And we have our blueprints that show us what to build and help us to make a strong foundation. And we have a rope.
You know, we have a rope. You know, Paul arrested folks and tied them up when they didn't believe.
Right.
Also, Paul, when he was going out to talk to people, had to talk. He didn't have a megaphone. He didn't have a loudspeaker. He had to be in front. He had to talk to people. He had to go where people live and tell them. Today, we are a little different. We are still asked to go and tell. But we have these fancy things called cell phones.
Yeah.
You know, we can call people up and tell them. But that's what we're supposed to do.
That's good. That's right. That's right. So,
Another thing with the Bible, another important Bible verse was written in Paul in Romans 5:8. God proves his own love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us.
that's right. So, what do we know about Jesus' forgiveness? We know that it helps us to understand how great God's love is.
It's what we call unconditional love.
And that means that it doesn't matter how good we are or how bad we are. We don't have to earn all A's in behavior, but Jesus forgives us anyway.
I'm really glad of that. It
right.
also means that God is bigger than that, bigger than any love that we've ever known.
That's right. That's unconditional.
We can't earn it. We can't lose it. He will never take it back from us.
That's right. It's ours forever.
Now, how cool is that?
That is cool. Let's look at our Bible verse again.
Romans 5:8.
Proves
His love, his own love for us, and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. So next time you visit the construction site, we'll have some more Bible blueprint stories to tell. Thanks for being here today.